Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the American Sports Connection. I am your host, the one and only Joey Railroads. I'm here with my buddy Jason. How's it going, dude?
Good.
It's finally getting some colder weather, but isn't it supposed to warm up the next few days?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be almost 70 on Saturday, something like that.
I know it's supposed to be something crazy like that and then get really cold.
Yeah, then, the early signs of winter are going to come through.
Yeah, we don't need that. So, before we get started, I want to throw out the social media pages you can reach us at. It's facebook.com/American Sports Connection, or you can reach us on Twitter at AM Sports Con Pod, POD. Or you can reach Jason on Twitter at A Geek of Nature, all one word.
All one word.
So, what did you think of the NFL this week?
I enjoyed it. Let me clear my throat. Yeah. There were some really good games this week. I think 1 o'clock was our game, and then 4 o'clock was a good game, and then Sunday night was a good game, and then Monday night was a good game. So this was probably the most complete weekend of Sunday, Monday of football for us on television. I think Thursday night not so much. Thursday night really hasn't had a good game, I don't think, all year, but we'll see what happens tomorrow night.
This is probably the best week of overall football we've seen.
Yeah, because even during the Eagles game, you had a couple other games that were really good games, and we'll get into that in a second because there's one of them that really had a great finish.
Absolutely. So, all right, let's dig into it. We had the Ravens beating the Browns on Thursday night.
Yeah, Cleveland was up at the half, but Baltimore just blew them out in the second half, outscored them 22-0 in the second half. It's another Cleveland Browns football game.
The thing that amazed me, because I watched part of this game, was Cody Kessler was playing well for the Browns, and they benched him.
Yeah, I don't know. Cleveland just has issues beyond their players. I think I don't know. That organization is just a dumpster fire. That's all. They have new, everybody is just about new too. All their coaches and everything are new, and it's still just so bad. It's
a shame for that city because they're a good, they support their teams and everything, and they've been terrible since they came back into the league.
Yeah, I think they made the playoffs one time. No.
Yeah.
They made one time, and they got beat by Pittsburgh or somebody, right? Cincinnati,
yeah,
I don't know.
The Derek Anderson year.
Yeah, so they had one good year. They have one of the best receivers in football, but he can't stop smoking marijuana, and I don't even know if he's there anymore. But that team is just they're just bad, man. We talk about when we make the picks, I can't pick them until they actually win a game, and then I probably won't even pick them after that. I don't think this game doesn't do too much. Baltimore is in first place now, shockingly. They're 5-4. They've won 2 in a row, beating Pittsburgh, and the team that they really needed to beat was Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, though, we'll get into them a little bit later. They're falling apart too. But as far as this game went, it was pretty much, I guess, what you would expect with a Cleveland Browns team being in the game.
I agree. Next, we have the Texans.
28-7, by the way. Sorry, 28-7.
No, you're
was
fine.
The final.
The Texans squeak out a win against Jacksonville, 24-21.
Yeah, Jacksonville tried to come back and win this football game, man. They scored a touchdown with just over 2 minutes to go. They were down 11 at that time. They converted a 2-point conversion, and they tried to come back in this one. Jacksonville's thing is, though, man, is Blake Bortles does not seem to play great football until they have a large deficit, and it's I don't know. Like, they have a lot of talent, and it just doesn't seem to show 60 minutes. They can't do it for 60 minutes, and they didn't do it again for 60 minutes. But Osweiler had another clunker. He only had 99 yards passing in this game. They ran the ball great, but Osweiler, again, not really, really good day at all. But this game was a late surge by Jacksonville away from being another romp, because it would have been like a double-digit win for Houston. But Houston, kudos to them. They're kind of pulling away in that division right now.
Yeah.
6-3, 2 wins in a row.
Yeah, they're kind of like distancing themselves from everyone.
Yeah, which I think they should be doing, because that division's weak.
Yes. All right, next we have the Broncos hanging on to beat the Saints in New Orleans, 25-23.
Yeah, this was the crazy finish. If no one didn't see it, Drew Brees throws a touchdown pass, 32 yards to Brandon Cooks, and the PAT is blocked by Denver. It's a 23-23 game at that point. They attempt the PAT. It's blocked by Denver, and Justin Simmons picks it up and returns it for the 2 points, this being the first year in the NFL where you can actually return a blocked extra point or an interception or fumble on a 2-point conversion, and you get the 2 points, and Denver becomes the first team, I guess in NFL history to win a game like that, right?
Yeah.
They have to be. Yeah. Early game, it really looked like just sloppy football, and then the Saints in the third quarter, Brees and the Saints put up a couple touchdowns, and it started to look like maybe the Saints were going to run away with it, but the Denver, they come back. McManus nails a couple field goals late and puts them ahead until Brees, does his thing, and which he does every week, and just the block PAT ends up turning into the deciding play.
The thing, we talked about this before, Brees is going to put up numbers against anybody. Well, I kept an eye on the first half of this game, and he had like putrid numbers in the first half.
He was,
and I said, well, maybe somebody's finally going to stop him. And then in the third quarter, it was just like boom, 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 boom. I was like, holy crap.
Well, what really hurt them, too, is Brees completed 2 passes to Michael Thomas that he fumbled away. He had 2 lost fumbles. And that's rare for a wide receiver to have 2 lost fumbles in a game. But, yeah, Brees was negative early. He had 2 interceptions before he really did anything.
Yeah.
Of course, later in the game, he bounced back and did what Drew Brees is going to do. But yeah, I thought this was going to be the week, though. Denver started early by really shutting him down. The final was 25-23, by the way. But yeah.
But this
and
was
Denver,
a very exciting game.
Yeah, the Saints really could have used this win. Really could have used it. And Denver at this point they need every win they can get, too, because they're in a division right now that's like, with them, the Raiders, and the Chiefs, it is a logjam up top. They're 3 teams.
Fight.
Yeah, they're 3 teams that should make the playoffs. Depending upon how it shakes out the rest of the way, that division is the best division, like, for the fight for first right now in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, moving on, we have the Rams winning a clunker against the Jets, 9-6.
Yeah, there's not much you could say about this game. It just, I mean, Bryce Petty came in. He threw the touchdown pass to Brandon Marshall. Somehow, I don't know. Missed extra point by Nick Folk, and 3 Greg Zuerlein field goals for the Rams wins the football game for them. It really was a terrible game. The Rams seem to only be able to win ugly games, and I guess that's good if you can win ugly games, because then if you win some good ones, you're gonna be a pretty good team.
Exactly.
But they can only win ugly games, so
they're not getting
we'll see.
Wins.
Yeah, they're not getting many wins if they're going to keep winning like this. 9-6 final score, and if I remember right, that's the second game they've won this year, 9-6, because they beat Seattle 9-6 earlier this year.
Yes, that's true.
Hey, they're 4-5 right now. They're not. I guess they're kind of out of that division with the way Seattle's turned it on, but we'll see. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about that game. It was so boring. It was the most boring game of the week. And actually, in a week where there was a lot of games, like almost every game was close except for maybe two. It definitely was the worst game of the week.
Oh, I agree.
No action.
Next, we have the Eagles kind of upsetting Atlanta at home 24-15.
Yeah, I would call it an upset mainly because Atlanta was 6-3 coming in. The Eagles were kind of like they were 4-4, but they were kind of like a team that's been floundering in the last 5 to 6 weeks because they haven't really played that well. But the Eagles' offense showed up, man, and they should really show up because if you think about it, Atlanta's defense has been bad all year. And the thing that I really liked about this game for the Eagles is their offensive line pounded the Falcons. Like, the Eagles ran the ball. They rushed for over 200 yards, and the Eagles don't typically do that because their offensive line...
They basically just ran it down their throat.
Yeah, and if you watched the game, which I know you did, obviously... Ryan Matthews rushed for 109 yards, but to me, it seemed like they were a lot stronger 109 yards. He was running guys over. He was, getting to the next level. Him and Smallwood combined for 179. Smallwood had 70 yards. Matthews had 2 touchdowns. I hate to go back to it, man, but the referees in this game were bad again, too. Like, it was a bad officiated game. Like, the helmet-to-helmet hit on Jordan Matthews was not called, and the NFL actually released a statement today admitting that it should have been a penalty. Sproles has a linebacker jump on his back with the ball in the air, and there's no call on a pass interference, but it ended up not hurting the Eagles because they win the game, obviously. But the Eagles defense look pretty good here today. McKelvin picked off Matt Ryan late in the game to finish it. Julio Jones got his, which he always will. Eagles, I even go as far as saying the Eagles had one bad defensive play, and it was that 76-yard touchdown to Gabriel.
Other than that, they really shut him out on the touchdown board.
Yeah, they did. That was their only touchdown. So the Eagles defense only made one really bad play, and thankfully it didn't come back to bite them. But they look pretty good. And
you said, to me off air, Wentz was going to eventually win them a close game.
Yeah, but he didn't win this one. The running game won this one.
True.
Wentz didn't really have that great of a day. He didn't throw for any touchdowns or anything. But this was a offensive, like a running game and a defensive win for the Eagles. This is how you win football games. They controlled the time of possession. 38 minutes to 22 minutes was the time of possession, and that's how you win football games against an offense like Atlanta's. You keep them off the field.
Yeah.
Special teams wasn't a factor pretty much either way, even though Barner did have a couple of kick returns. But it was just it's the way you want to put together a football game. Like I said the weeks prior, the Broncos win football games by running the ball and defense. And that, to me, is the way you win in the NFL.
I couldn't agree more. All right, moving right along, we have the Chiefs coming back and beating Carolina 20-17.
Yeah, that was a good one. Alex Smith comes back. It really, like, it wasn't a good game until the Chiefs kicked it into gear in the fourth quarter. 17 unanswered points because it was 17-3 at the half.
Yeah.
Chiefs defense steps up and their offense steps up late, in the fourth quarter. And actually, I say their offense. I'm sorry. Eric Berry stepped up for a interception return off of Cam Newton. It was a pick six.
That was a crazy return.
Yeah, it was. It was awesome.
This game was surprising because Carolina was up 17-3, and this was one they really needed, and they pissed it away.
Yep, they really need this. I think this might have been their elimination loss right here. We'll get into something a little bit later that I commented on, but I think this could be the nail in their coffin, or if it's not driven in all the way yet, it's three-quarters of the way in. But
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
yeah, the Kansas City, man, and Andy Reid coach team wins football games in November. They find ways to win, and it's always been that way for Andy Reid. And kudos to him. He knows when he has to turn it on, and right now his team is in the driver's seat for a playoff spot.
yeah,
Whether it be a division title or a wild card, I think they're going in.
yeah. Unless they have an absolute collapse, which seems unlikely.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, next we have Tampa Bay absolutely destroying Chicago 36-10.
Yeah, this was the game that Tampa Bay was due for, in my opinion. Like, offensively, they had a big day. They played well defensively. They needed this kind of win. They controlled this football game. Um, they just it's just the kind of game. I mean, it doesn't help when the Bears have 4 turnovers. Cutler throws 2 interceptions. Howard loses a fumble. Cutler loses a fumble. It was the Jay Cutler turnover fest. Like, then it seems that's what he does. It really wasn't a good game. 36-10. I mean, you can just imagine how good can a 36-10 game be. Unless you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, this was not a good game. And if you're a Bears fan that wants a high draft pick, this might have been a good game for you. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about this one. It just wasn't good.
No. Next, we have the Redskins squeaking out a game against Minnesota, 26-20.
Yeah, field goal fest, man. 4 field goals by Dustin Hopkins in the second half. I mean, wins them a football game. Good for him, right?
Yeah.
Started off like it was going to be a high scoring game, 20-14 at the half, and then nothing. Minnesota's offense just put it in park.
Basically, and they're in free fall.
Yeah, they're to the point right now where they just like went from what 5-0. They were 5-0, yeah, to 5-4 now, and now like Green Bay has life, which they shouldn't when you lose 3 in a row, and Detroit is right there and tied for first with Minnesota. It's that division, like why couldn't the Eagles be in that division or the South, or maybe even like the West? We're in a division right now where like the NFC East is the only division in the NFL with all 4 teams over 500 right now. They may not be the best record division because I think the AFC West probably has that, but the NFC East is the strongest division in football right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if you think about it, the Eagles are 5-4. They've only lost 1 game out of their division. That's it. And it was to, why can't I remember who it was to? Who did we lose to out of the division? The Lions, yeah. In a game that we should have won. And the Lions are technically a first-place team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
I agree with you, but I just don't know how the Redskins are doing it. It's like they do it with kind of like smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, well, they've had some big defense when they've needed it too. Like their defense isn't really that good, but they tend to get sacks when they need them, and interceptions when they need them, forced fumbles when they need them. And they're winning games. Now, do I think they're a good team? Probably not. I think they're average, but they can win football games. And as long as you can win football games, you're dangerous. If you know how to put a win in the end, if you know how to pull out a win, you're dangerous, and that's all it takes.
Yeah, you're right. All right, next we have, to me, the shocking game of the week. Tennessee dropping 47 on the Green Bay Packers beating them 47-25.
I'm not that shocked. I'm starting to come around to I think is the fact of the Green Bay Packers are not a good football team anymore.
I don't think it was the fact that they lost that I was shocked.
It's how much. Yeah, I got you. It's how much they lost by and how bad they really just got beat up. Because they give up. The Titans scored 35 points in the first half in this game. It was like DeMarco Murray, Mariota. They were just like all over them early, and it's to the point now where I'm like, like we talked about last week. I was like, the sand in the hourglass is starting to get to the bottom side of it for the Green Bay Packers. Well, I think this week a little bit more sand fell down in that hourglass, and
I have to wonder, dude, not to cut you off, if they clean house, if they get rid of Mike McCarthy and their GM.
It seems like it might be about time for that for Green Bay. The Packers, you have to start wondering is how long do you keep Aaron Rodgers? If you're going to clean house and you cannot win in the next 2 to 3 years, maybe isn't it best to possibly move him somewhere where he has a shot at winning?
Yeah, why waste his prime years?
Because if you put someone like an Aaron Rodgers, well, I think his prime years are a little behind him at this point, but I get what you're saying. I agree with that, yeah. He's almost like a Peyton Manning, where Manning went to Denver, He wins the Super Bowl after he's pretty much done, but he still had some great skills left when he went there. Now, with Rodgers, my thing is there some teams out there who I think could really use, like Denver is a team where I think you could send Aaron Rodgers and possibly win again because they have the weapons.
Yeah, there's another team that when you mention that, there's one team that instantly pops in my head, and that's Arizona.
Well, they got Carson Palmer, which is going to be...
I don't know how much time he's got left.
Yeah, but they also have Carson Palmer's contract. That's the big thing. But yeah,
Rodgers is 32.
Yeah, Rodgers is not young. He still has a couple years left in him, but they're not the Aaron Rodgers, of 4 years ago or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it might be time for Rodgers to possibly be moved out of there, especially if they might go to a rebuild or something. I think it's probably time for them to part ways with him.
Hey, them drafting that kid a few years back doesn't look so bad now, the quarterback.
Yeah, Nick Hundley. Yeah.
But
we'll see, though.
I got to give credit there to the Titans. They've really started to turn this around.
Yeah, I don't think they're that far away from being a decent football team, a competitive football team at that. They're 5-5 right now. I mean,
I didn't think they would be there.
No, they've rebounded. Like they had a game last week that they could have won, and they lost to Indianapolis in a closer type of game. They lost to Tennessee in a close game. They lost to Oakland in a close game. They didn't really get blown out by Minnesota week 1, but we'll see. The Titans are not a bad football team, though.
No, they're headed in the right direction.
Absolutely.
All right, next we have the Dolphins beating the Chargers in San Diego 31-24.
This was actually a pretty good game, too. Kiko Alonso
coming to save the day.
Yep, 60-yard touchdown return on an interception, and Phillip Rivers, again, throws a football game away. How many times can you say that since he's been in San Diego? Phillip Rivers, 4 interceptions on Sunday. 4 interceptions, man.
It's just amazing when you think about it.
It really is. That's another team that I think might be ready for the full rebuild. Yeah, because they have a good running back, Melvin Gordon. They have a couple receivers, but I don't think Rivers is ever going to win you anything.
No.
And he's not young. It's not like he's a kid anymore. He's, like 32? He's like same age as...
He might actually be older.
Yeah, he's however old Eli Manning is, that's how old Rivers is.
I want to say he's like 35.
Yeah, I believe you're right. Rivers is definitely old.
He'll be 35 in December.
So he's 35.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think his time is in this league might be about up.
I think San Diego was foolish when they had a chance to potentially move him and they didn't.
Probably.
And they could have got something for him, and now they're just going to be stuck with him.
Yep.
But I agree with you. This game was actually more exciting than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I hate when a game is decided by a defensive touchdown. I like games that are, a team drives down the field, hits a big touchdown pass, and they win the football game.
Yeah.
That's just me, but I mean, a 60-yard return, though, is pretty exciting. A 60-yard interception return is pretty exciting. So.
And Kiko's having a rebirth down there.
Healthy, man. Healthy and a decent defense. That's what happens.
Yeah, he's having a great year.
Yeah, good for him. And I think Byron Maxwell actually had an interception on Sunday, too, for them.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so there you go. It's working out for both sides.
I couldn't agree more. All right, next we have, and this was another shocking one for me, the Cardinals hanging on to beat San Francisco 23-20.
Yeah, man, the Niners tried to come back in this one. Kaepernick rushed for that touchdown late and tied it up, and then Cannizzaro with the 34-yard field goal to win it as time expired. Kudos to the Niners for making it a competitive game. They didn't win. They're not going to win many games. I think it's time for that whole coaching staff, front office to go. Balky and Chip Kelly. They've lost 8 in a row, dude. They won their first game.
I got to give them credit, though. The team didn't quit. They fought. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the problem is when you're 1-8 and you don't quit but you fight, it kind of doesn't look good either way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just mean they didn't get blown out like they've been in previous weeks. Yeah,
they stayed competitive this week, but Arizona's just a better team, and the 49ers, though, I don't know how long you keep letting them lose. When you've lost 8 in a row, it might be time to just do at least a subtle change. Not so subtle, like the head coach, get him out of there. And another thing, remember the guy they fired after last year? How bad that everybody thought he was as a coach? Well, that 49ers team looks better than this 49ers team. He's saying something.
Tomsula.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, I remember. Everybody said he was like clueless and all this stuff. I agree with you. At least they played hard every game.
Yeah, this team looks a shitload worse than that team did. So maybe he wasn't as clueless and as bad as everybody thought. Maybe it's the talent on that team that's clueless and bad.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, next is one of the games of the week. We have Dallas going into Pittsburgh and winning in the final minute 35-30. Yeah,
the game of the week. The game of the week. You have Roethlisberger right there was 3 touchdowns inside of 2 minutes to finish this game. Ezekiel Elliott, the rush for the touchdown. Roethlisberger to Antonio Brown for a touchdown with 42 seconds left.
Yeah, with the fake.
And then Ezekiel Elliott busts a 32-yarder to win the game. This game was great. First half was a little bit meh. It started off like, 15-13 at the half or whatever. And then in the second half, this game became just a barn burner, for lack of a better phrase.
The one thing I have to say about this game, I was really puzzled why Pittsburgh kind of ran almost an all-out blitz on the Elliott touchdown run.
I think because they were trying to hold him at a deeper field goal. They wanted to try to make the field goal a lot deeper.
Right.
And they thought they could stand him up at the line to do that. But Dallas's offensive line is just so good that
they got burned.
When every man is accounted for, there's a hole there. Ezekiel Elliott, as we've seen this year, is going to bust one.
Already 'cause that dude yards.
That dude is phenomenal. And another week of Dak Prescott showing why he is an NFL starting quarterback and why Tony Romo is no longer the man there.
Yep.
And Romo even admitted it this week. How can they can't justify putting Romo in.
No.
And Romo even admitted it. And that's good for Romo to come out and, support Prescott,
Absolutely.
Big Ben had his day, though. 408 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's back. And Antonio Brown had a huge day. He's back, too. This was a fantasy football player's dream game.
Yes. I agree with that. It was a fun game to watch.
It was a great game to watch. The stadium was hot. The game was great. It was in that 4:25 time slot that I think is the best to watch a football game, because then if you got anything you want to do earlier in the day, you come home, you got some football on later in the afternoon. You eat dinner while you're watching, you know what I mean with all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the 4:25, and I think that's actually what the Eagles are in next week. This week coming up, 4:25 slot. But
I think
yeah, this was definitely the game of the week and definitely the finish of the week. Possibly the best final 2 minutes of football in a game this season as well.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't the best finish of the week. Well, yeah, it kind of was, yeah, because that Denver one happened. There was still about 2 minutes left to go in the game. So yeah, I think this was the best finish of the year so far.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have the Sunday night game where Seattle goes into New England and beats them 31-24.
This was a surprise game in a way. It didn't surprise me that Russell Wilson and that passing game went off. Wilson had 348 yards and 3 touchdowns. I was surprised. Like, New England usually doesn't get beat at home. We know that. It just doesn't happen often. And Russell Wilson and the Seahawks went in there and they beat them. They came out with a big win that they did, and they got it. And New England, now I would be afraid to play them going forward, because when they lose, they're pissed.
The thing that surprised me about this game with Seattle was actually the emergence of C.J. Prosise.
That didn't surprise me, because I've seen him at Notre Dame. I mean, he only had 66 yards rushing, but his receiving was what was big. He got skills, man, and it actually led to them waiving the Christian Michael dude, too, yesterday, which I haven't seen him be. Well, he went, it's 48 hours, so he'll probably be claimed tomorrow. Whoever gets him will get him tomorrow.
And the other thing I saw in this game that you don't see very often was Rob Gronkowski getting smacked going over the middle and taking the worst of it.
Yeah, Gronk is a body for sure. And when you put a big hit on him, which I believe it was Earl Thomas, right?
Yes.
Did. Yeah, he leveled him, and I think they said he punctured one of his lungs, didn't he?
Yeah, because he's not allowed to fly.
Yeah, well, we were talking about that last night. That's what, if you get a bruised lung or any kind of stuff like that, you're not allowed to fly. Any kind of lung injury.
Yeah. The thing that just surprised me is you usually see Gronk run people over, but he was the one that got run over.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in a position like that to get drilled by a safety that can drill you, usually anybody will get leveled there. And Gronk, he don't get hit that hard very often because of his size and stuff. But Earl Thomas put a smack on him.
He sure did, and that's what was fun about this game, because they were, they were really hitting in this game.
Yeah, well, that's how Seattle beat you too, man. They come out and they start laying the lumber, and then usually teams fold. New England didn't exactly fold, but they still beat them.
Yeah, and for everyone that was complaining about a questionable non-call at the end of the game, I think they made the right call. No call.
Yeah.
I mean, they were both jockeying for position, and they were both, fighting, so it was I don't like it when officials try to make themselves part of the game late. You know what I mean? Unless it's really egregious, I don't want it called.
Yeah, I agree with that. At points, you just in situations like that and stuff, it's best to kind of let them play because a lot of plays you're going to have where you could flag both guys, and at that point, just let stuff go, or let the game decide itself. Like you just said.
Yeah, and like I think it was some crazy stat like 16 games or 17 games Brady has lost at home his entire career.
Yeah, Tom Brady. That's what I was saying. It's. I expected them to win that game because New England doesn't lose very often in Foxborough. But yeah, I credit to Seattle. I hope they lay an egg this week coming up. But
Yeah, you wonder if they're due for a letdown.
yeah, I don't think they are, but I hope they are. I hope they do let down. But we'll see.
But this was another really great primetime game.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this one too, and it seems like this year we've had a lot of stinkers, but that's definitely another Sunday night game that turned into a winner.
Right. All right, and the last game of the week, the Giants coming from behind to beat the Bengals 21-20.
Yeah, Giants are another team, man, that are finding ways to win football games, and they did it this week. Their defense stood up late. Their defense pretty much stood up all game. I think allowing 20 points to the Bengals is a win if you're a defense,
Yeah.
because Cincinnati can score some points, especially being that they scored 10 in the first half. Then early in the third, they started looking like they were going to come out and win the football game.
Yeah, they were going to pull away.
Yeah, Landon Collins with another big interception for the Giants. Puts the game away, and the Giants are starting to look like a better football team, almost like the Redskins. They're winning football games, but they don't exactly do them in a pretty fashion. But it doesn't matter when you win a football game, especially in November and December. A win is a win. It don't matter how you look when you win football games in November and December. That's to me the sign of a team that's good. Just win late in the season,
Yes, I completely agree. All right, so how did we do this week in our picks?
Yeah, about that. We both had, let me get to the page so I don't make a mistake here. I already know what we both had 10 losses this week.
Ouch.
This was the worst week of the season for us.
That's funny.
We were 4-10, both of us this week. So,
Ouch.
yeah, I don't even think it matters to go over what games we won and lost because we basically lost them all.
Yeah.
All right, but
we got another
you
week
ready?
to try again.
Yep, that's the best thing about this point of the season is you can go back next week and lose 10 more, I guess.
Exactly.
All right, Thursday night. This is the game, I believe, is the elimination game for one of these two teams. Whoever loses this game, I'm confident in saying they are done. New Orleans at Carolina.
I will go with Carolina.
All right, I'm going to take New Orleans. I like Drew Brees and his offense, and I like them to come back and get a W after that loss. But we'll see. Buffalo at Cincinnati.
I will go with Cincinnati.
Yeah, we're in agreement there. Pittsburgh. Okay, I'll just say we're both going to pick Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we don't even have to go there.
Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Pittsburgh. Baltimore at Dallas.
I'm going to take Dallas because I just can't see Baltimore beating them.
I agree. Jacksonville at Detroit.
Detroit.
Agreed. Tennessee at Indianapolis.
Ooh, I will go with Tennessee because they almost beat them the last time they played.
I agree with you on this one. I'm going to take the Titans as well. Tampa Bay at Kansas City.
Kansas City, that should be an easy one.
I agree with that one. Arizona at Minnesota.
Arizona, because Minnesota's just in free fall.
I agree there too. Chicago at the New York Football Giants.
This is an easy one for the Giants.
Yeah, I agree with you on that too. Miami at Los Angeles.
I'll take Miami just because the Rams' offense is so bad.
Yeah, we're in agreement on that as well. Philadelphia at Seattle.
I will take Seattle because of the 12th man.
Yep, same pick as me. New England at San Francisco.
This is my lock. If the Browns game wasn't, this is my lock of the week. The Patriots are probably going to drop 50 on them.
I'm not going to go that high, but I think they're going to win easily. Green Bay at Washington.
Huh.
See, I'm picking Green Bay.
One for me.
I'm picking Green Bay, and this is the last time I'm going with them turning it around. If they don't turn it around after this week, I'm done picking them. But I'm going Green Bay.
Yeah, I kind of have to go with Green Bay too.
And I believe this is going to be a good Monday night one. Houston at Oakland. I'm happy anytime we get to see Oakland. They're an exciting team.
Oh yeah, and this is the game in Mexico City.
Yes.
I'm taking Oakland.
We're in agreement there too. So we have a lot of.
The reason I'm taking Oakland is every primetime game I've seen Houston play this year, they've shit the bed.
Basically, yeah. Our only separation this week is the Thursday night game. So we'll know who's going to win our week this week after Thursday. Yeah. Because we agree with every single game other than that one.
That's funny.
So that's good, though. So we'll know who's winning this week after Thursday night. One of us will finish with one less loss than the other, and it'll be because of that game and that game alone.
That's funny. All right, everybody, we're going to get out of here for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, thumbs up, all that good stuff. And we will see you back next week. Have a good day, everybody.